everybody, it's Miss Tracy from the Danbury Library, here with another Globetrotters adventure. Today, we're going to be exploring Asia. Are you ready to pack your bags and come along? Let's go! So far on our adventures around the world, we have discovered South America, North America, Europe, Africa, and Antarctica. Next month, we'll travel to Oceania, which includes Australia. But today, let's explore Asia. Asia is the world's largest continent. It covers about 17 million square miles, or nearly 1/3 of the world's landmass. It stretches from the Arctic Ocean in the north to the Indian Ocean in the south. Europe and most of Asia form part of the same landmass. In fact, some geographers believe they belong to a single continent called Eurasia. Asia has 6 main land regions. Northern Asia refers to the vast northern part of Asia east of the Ural Mountains, also known as Siberia. The region is divided into the Russian federal districts of Ural, Siberia, and the Russian Far East. Approximately 5.1 million square miles border the Arctic Ocean in the north. Central Asia refers to the region between the Caspian Sea and western China. Central Asia includes Afghanistan, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, and Uzbekistan. All of these nations are predominantly Muslim countries, and with the exception of Afghanistan, were once all part of the former Soviet Union. Western Asia refers to the west part of Asia and includes the Arabian Peninsula and most of the countries in the Middle East. This includes Armenia, Azerbaijan, Bahrain, Cyprus, Georgia, Iran, Iraq, Israel, Jordan, Kuwait, Lebanon, Oman, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, State of Palestine, Syria, Turkey, the United Arab Emirates, and Yemen. Except for Armenia, Georgia, Israel, and the Republic of Cyprus, these are all countries with a majority Muslim population. East Asia refers to the eastern part of the Asian continent, plus the island nation of Japan. This includes China, Japan, North Korea, South Korea, Mongolia, and Taiwan. This is one of the most populated areas of Asia, with approximately 1.68 billion people living here. South Asia sits south of Central Asia. The region is bounded by the Indian Ocean in the south and includes the Himalayas in the north. It includes the countries of Bangladesh, Bhutan, India, Maldives, Nepal, Pakistan, and Sri Lanka. Southeast Asia refers to the part of Asia that includes the Indochine Peninsula and the island nations north of Australia. Because Asia is so vast, there are many different landscapes. A mountain system called the Himalayas forms the northern border of South Asia. India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Bhutan, and Nepal, as well as the island country of Sri Lanka, are part of this region. Along the Nepal-China border is Mount Everest. Fertile farming soil is found in Southeast Asia and East Asia. Central Asia has high plateaus and mountains, huge deserts, and grassy plains. Forests cover much of North Asia, and the land becomes tundra in the far north. Millions of people live in Asia's river valleys and deltas. The Tigris and Euphrates rivers flow through the northern part of Southwest Asia. The Indus, Brahmaputra, and Ganges River travel south from the mountains into the South Asia. The Huanghe or Yellow River and the Yangtze River are located in East Asia. Deserts cover much of the land north of the Himalayas, and much of the Arabian Peninsula in Southwest Asia. Southern Saudi Arabia features the world's largest continuous body of sand. The area is known as Rub al-Khalai, which is Arabic for empty quarter. Asia's land regions have a variety of climates. Much of Central and Southwest Asia have a hot, dry climate, although winters can be cold in the mountainous regions. South and Southeast Asia are hot and humid because they are located near the equator, the part of the Earth with the warmest climate. In Southeast Asia, you can find dense rainforests. Because of the various climates and regions, there are many different animals that live in Asia. Arctic foxes, hares, lemmings, and reindeer live in North Asia. Brown bears, elk, and weasels such as sables, ermines, and marten live in the far north. In Central Asia, antelopes are found in the plateaus and grassland, and musk deer live in the mountains. Giant pandas live in the forested mountains of central China. They can weigh up to 300 pounds and spend up to 12 hours or more each day eating bamboo. Monkeys, crocodiles, rhinoceroses, tigers, and snakes make their home in the rainforests of South and Southeast Asia. Peacocks, birds of paradise, and others are found here too. Some animals are found in nature only in Asia. Orangutans live on the island of Borneo and Sumatra, off the coast of mainland Southeast Asia. Snow leopards are native to Central Asia. More than 4.5 billion people, or nearly 60% of the world's population, lives in Asia. The population is not distributed evenly throughout the Asian continent, though. Few people live in Asia's desert or high mountain regions, and most Asians live near the ocean or in river or mountain valleys. According to the International Workgroup for Indigenous Affairs, there are about 950 indigenous groups in Asia. Indonesia is the most diverse Asian country. Many cultural groups in Asia continue to live the traditional way of life. Asia is also home to many religious traditions. Today, the continent has more than 1.1 billion Muslims. Indonesia has more than 225 million Muslims, a larger number than any other country on Earth. Most of the world's Hindus, nearly 1 billion, live in Asia, mainly in India. And about 512 million Buddhists and 379 million Christians also live in Asia. Because there's so many different people and cultures that live in Asia, we are going to be reading 2 short stories today. From the book A Year Full of Stories, 52 Folktales and Legends from Around the World. Our first story comes from India, and it's called The Raja and the Rice. Once there was a Raja who was content with the pleasures of his palace and never traveled around the country to see how his people lived. There came a year when the rice harvest was bad. As usual, the farmers brought rice to fill the palace storehouse so the Raja could enjoy his fine banquets. But there wasn't enough left to feed the people, who had no choice but to beg for food in the streets. One morning, an old man came to the palace with a present for the Raja. "I've invented a new board game, Your Highness," he said. "It's a battle game of great skill. I call it chess." The Raja loved games. At once he was intrigued. The old man showed him the carved chess pieces. "The finest piece is Your Highness himself," he exclaimed. "Riding on your favorite elephant." The Raja was delighted. "You must teach me how to play this marvelous new game," he said, and the old man agreed. Day after day, the old man made his way to the palace through streets crowded with starving beggars and hungry children, to teach the Raja how to play chess. Before long, the Raja learned the rules and became a skilled game player. "I am very pleased with this present," he said to the old man. "I have taught my wife and all of my family to play. What can I give you as a gift of thanks?" The old man scratched his beard and gazed out of the palace window thoughtfully. "I would like some rice, Your Highness," he said. "Rice?" the Raja laughed. "Look around you, my friend," he said. "I have fine paintings and jewels and fabulous singing birds. Choose yourself a treasure. I promise you may have whatever you wish." The old man bowed humbly. "Rice will be thanks enough for the chess game," he said. "If you please, 1 grain on the first square of the board, 2 on the second square, 4 on the next, and so on, doubling up each time across the board." The Rajah thought this was an odd request, but he called for a bowl of rice and began putting the grains on the board himself. To his surprise, as he began doubling up, he soon needed so many grains of rice that they wouldn't fit on the squares. "Bring a casket to put it in," he asked the servants, "and add more rice." The rice filled the casket, and then a sack, and then another. By the end of the second row of squares, the Rajah had counted 32,868 grains, and for the next square, twice as much. All that day and the next, the servants brought rice, and the Rajah counted. The corridors of the palace were filled with sacks piled high, until there was not one single grain left in the storehouse. "Fetch more rice from the farmer," said the Rajah wearily. "I must keep my promise." But the old man shook his head. "Didn't you know there's a famine in your land, your highness?" he said. "There is no rice to feed even the hungriest child." At these words, the Rajah was troubled. "No child should go hungry," he said. "I see I have neglected my people, and now I have given all my rice to you." The old man smiled. "I never wanted it for myself, your highness," he said. "I only ask you give a bowl of rice to every hungry person outside your palace door, and then we will all be rewarded." Our next story is a Chinese story in celebration of the Lunar New Year. It's called King of the Forest. Tiger was prowling through the shadows one day when he spied Fox sitting outside his den. Tiger smiled to himself. He leaped and pounced on Fox's tail, holding him fast. "Let me go!" cried Fox, tugging his tail. "How dare you attack the king of the forest?" Tiger was taken aback. "What nonsense!" he said. "You are not the king of the forest." "I am," said Fox. "I am so powerful that all the animals are afraid of me. If you don't believe me, come and I'll show you." Tiger was curious. He released Fox and followed him closely down the track. They came to a herd of deer by the river. When Fox stepped forward, the deer skittered with panic and fled in all directions. "See, I told you so," said Fox, and he walked on. Tiger followed closely. They came to a family of pigs rooting among the trees. When Fox appeared, the pigs squealed and thundered away. "See, I told you," said Fox, and he walked on. Tiger followed closely. They came to a group of monkeys sitting on a branch. When Fox stopped beneath the branch, the monkeys shrieked with fright and scrambled into the treetops. "There you see," said Fox. "All the animals are afraid of me." "It's amazing, but true," Tiger agreed. "I've seen it with my own eyes. You must be the king of the forest. Please forgive me, your majesty." "I forgive you," said the crafty Fox, "but be sure not to do it again." Then Tiger bowed low, and with a sweep of his great tail, he slipped away into the shadows. Today we're going to be making our very own Chinese lantern to celebrate the Lunar New Year. Are you ready to try to make one? Let's go. To make today's Chinese lanterns, you will need some construction paper, some decorative paper, some scissors, and a stapler or some tape. You may also want a glue stick and some string. I am going to use some red construction paper because red is considered to be a lucky color in the Chinese culture. The first thing we're going to do is cut off about an inch strip along the short side of the paper. You can set this aside for later. Next, we're going to fold our paper in half, lengthwise, like this. Now, starting from the folded edge, we're going to cut strips up the paper until you reach about an inch from the top. And you can make these cuts about an inch apart. Once you have your strips cut, open it up and make sure the folded line is on the top. Next, take your decorative paper and cut out some strips to decorate the top and the bottom. You can also use some markers or crayons to make any sort of decoration you wish. Once you have your edges decorated, flip your lantern over and we're going to roll it and sort of make this cylinder type shape, just like this. Take your stapler or tape and staple the sides together. Then take your extra strip that you cut off at the beginning and staple that on as a handle. And there you have your very own Chinese lantern. I'm going to make a few of them and string them up on my string to make a beautiful decoration. Well, I hope you had fun exploring Asia. Join us next time when we go down under to explore Oceania, which includes Australia and New Zealand. Until then, keep reading and I'll see you soon. Bye!